Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. We are here today with our Mindset and Motivation Monday episode, where I'm excited to share with you one of the absolute best things that you can do when getting started on achieving a new goal, something that you've never done before, but you absolutely know that it should be a part of your life, that by accomplishing that goal, you will become better as a person for yourself and for all of those around you. And those are the type of goals that I love to be able to help people set, because it is something where, yes, you absolutely do win, right? You win from it, you get something from it, but so does so many other people. And really, those are the types of goals that I'm going after myself right now. And the exciting thing is this, is that you don't have to feel bad. You don't have to feel bad about you accomplishing something great that you want in your life, because you know by you accomplishing this, it will lift everybody else up. It could be success in a relationship. It could be success in a career, success in spirituality, whatever it might be. You know that if you get better, you have so much more now to give to others. And that's really the great thing. So when we look at, a promotion in a career, or more financial gain, or more spirituality, like feeling more connectedness, you don't have to feel like you're leaving others behind, because if they choose to, you can lift them right up along with you. And it's so much more, it's just easier when you're coming from a place of plenty, from just so much that your cup is already overflowing, that you're able to then give more to others. That's why I'm telling you right now, is a lot of people see it as selfish, but it's not selfish to want to build yourself up. Because if you do it in the right way, you just have more to give. It's difficult to give a lot to others when you lack yourself. That's just the way that it is. If you lack in finances, really hard to be able to make donations and to be able to give to others. If you lack in spirituality, it's really hard to be happy and to be able to feel connected and be able to bring then other people in. Same in relationships and love and all of these different areas that you need to build yourself up in those areas. Of course, you can help others at the same exact time, but build yourself up, because when you do, you simply have more to give. Now, there's a big obstacle, though, with a lot of people building themselves up. And that's because, well, maybe it starts in the goal setting process. I don't necessarily think it's that, because I think deep down people know what it is they want. They really do. They're oftentimes afraid to go after it. That's a big part of it. And that becomes, I've talked about this on previous Mindset and Motivation Mondays, fear of success, fear of failure. Those are big ones that hold people back. There are others as well. But let's just say you know what it is that you want to achieve. A new career path, a stronger relationship, finding that, person that you've been looking for in your life, a deeper sense of connectedness and spirituality. I would say overall, the things that they're the cornerstones in life. They're the things that if you have them, you feel complete. And when you don't. If you don't have those in your life, the health and wellness, the body that allows you to move through life more effortlessly, the career, the relationship, the spirituality, that's what I consider my big five. And again, I think many people have different considerations, but they typically fall into those buckets. The issue is this, and it's a big one, that if any of those are lacking, you're going to feel lack, right? So you want to work on them because you want to be happy. And if you're happy, remember, think of it like this. When you're happy, are you a better person to be around? Yes or no? The answer is typically yes. If you're happy, you're more fun to be around. You naturally want to help others, right? So if we go with that simple mindset alone, by making yourself happy, by building yourself up, you are naturally going to be more fun, better to be around, and want to help others more, right? So Again, I don't want to confuse this. When you win, everybody wins. So now we need to say, okay, well, what would make us happy? And typically it's like, well, where are we not happy right now? Are we not happy in our relationship? Let's fix that. Are we not happy in our body? Let's fix that. Are we not happy with our health? Let's fix that. What about our career? Do we need to be able to branch out or go for that promotion, something that would bring us a greater sense of either financial stability or just purpose and passion in what you do? And the last, of course, is spirituality, and that's different for different people. It's either organized religion or it's spirituality, connectedness to nature. And that's not for me to tell you how to live and really follow your path of spirituality. But what I can share is this: when you look over those, you don't even need to look over them, because if you just simply sit quiet with yourself for enough time, you will know, right? Your mind will tell you this is what's causing us unhappiness. Now, it's good to know what's causing you unhappiness, but don't focus on the source of the unhappiness. Allow the unhappiness to tell you then the juxtaposition of that. What's the opposite of that? Okay, I'm not happy in my relationship right now. Let's say you say that to yourself. Okay, then your next question should be, what then would a happy relationship look like? That's what we need to focus on, right? Because focusing on unhappy is just going to get you more of the unhappy. Focusing on what does a happy relationship look like? Well, now you're like, it's this. It's, it's setting up date nights. It's being able to get a small gift for that person, like whatever it is, like whatever that is, again, for you, that's what you want to focus on. Same with your career. Okay, I'm not happy, let's say, with your career. Well, what do you need to do? What's causing you the unhappiness? Well, I love what I'm doing, you might say, but I'm not happy with the pay. Okay, so now you know that you love what you're doing, so you're on the right path, but the finances are making a big issue. Well, is it that you could do something part-time, moonlighting, as they say, so that you keep doing what you love, even though it doesn't pay you a lot? Maybe you're an artist, you're a musician. That's what you love. It's not paying you what you want. Well, can you do something to subsidize that? Or can you get better at your craft or promoting yourself that might be able to get you out there to bigger venues, a bigger, or even a company that would allow you to get the financial gain that you're looking for to still allow you to live your purpose? And again, we could go on and on, but again, find the negative. Yes, find the negative that you're not happy with, but then let's quickly move into what it is that would make you then happy. And let's focus then on doing those things that are happy. Okay, there's another piece to this though. So after we know what it is that we're looking for, we then need to say, we can't stop ourselves. This is the big part, right? So we start to get excited, right? We start to look at our goals. We might be writing down our goals. We might be journaling our goals. We might be creating, a vision board for ourselves, all of these different things, and they're all fantastic. But then all of a sudden, when it comes to say, okay, now it's time to put this plan into action, we freeze. And that is where so many people stop, because here's why. They don't necessarily admit to themselves that they are frozen, that they are paralyzed from moving forward. They say, well, yeah, this is what I want, but I'm going to wait till next week, next month, next year. I need to do this, this, and this before I do that. And the tricky thing is, this is a slippery slope. And that's because when you start on it and you start to slide backwards, you've got more ground to gain. Because you now need to go through that phase of remotivating yourself, doing the work, journaling, etc., all over again. But also, you always will come up against the point where you're freezing. And here's why. These are really important points. I've done them myself over and over and over. Because when you look at your goal, right? So let me give you an example. When I was very young in this health and fitness-based field. I was 22 years old. I'd actually already been working as a nutritionist and personal trainer in college, supporting myself. I needed the income, but also I loved the work. So I would have done it for free, but I needed the income anyway. So it was great. So that was it. That's a real case of me following my passion, my purpose, but making very little money. I was getting paid $8 an hour. So it's not like I was making very much money. However, I was on a path. I was doing what I loved. And again, that was more money. $8 an hour is still more money than I had. So, okay, great. But there are levels to that. then I applied to some much more well-known gyms and different like wellness-based places. And I always looked at all the people that were working there as they had so much more experience than me. They were so much more smarter than me. They're all of these different things, right? It's always like what you're doing is you're overestimating the skills and talents and all the experience of those people you see in those positions, right? But lo and behold, I would get the job, excited about it. I would meet these people and I'd realize like, oh, well, yeah, certainly they are smart. And they're a little bit older than me, no doubt about it. But I can learn these things. And so I went about learning them. And then, over a number of months and years, then I began to rise up there as well. And so great. Then I got to be looking at myself like, okay, I accomplished that. But then, it always starts back over again. Then I said, okay, now I want to go off on my own. I want to start my own wellness-based practice. And so at that point, what did I do? Well, I said, well, I don't have the business acumen. I don't have the money, the capital to start up. I don't have the marketing abilities. I don't have any of these things. How could I possibly do that, right? How could I possibly do that? So I went about simply simplifying the process, right? Because I was overestimating the amount of skill, knowledge, talent I needed to have in order to open up my first location, which again, I started small. So that's what I did. Then I accomplished that. I felt the fear. I realized it was there, but I said, hey, I only need to basically be doing what I'm already doing right now and teach one other person to do what I'm doing right now and help build them up as well, right? And so that's what I did. And then, of course, we built up and we expanded and then, but it's the same thing along the path, right? I didn't feel worthy to say, listen, my mentor, she's a naturopathic doctor and she's saying, you should go back to school. You should get your degree. Then you should open up a wellness center. It was like all these different things, but I'm not you. And I would always look at all of these different things. And I'm sharing this with you here today because we always believe that the person that we are learning from, that is maybe a role model to us or someone that we see off there, way off there, right? That we could never achieve that. And that is called an overestimation in the short term of what you believe it will take in order to achieve success. It's an overestimation. It is typically in the short term, nowhere near the amount of work that you think that it's going to be. You don't need anywhere near the amount of talent or skill or experience that you believe that you need in order to get started, right? That's the key, in order to get started. Because you will never get to where that person is, whoever that role model is, or the person that you see in a position that you want, whatever it might be, relationship-wise, spirituality-wise, health-wise, body transformation-wise, like any of those things, you'll never get there without getting started. So you don't need to worry about where they are 10 years from now or 5 years from now, or whatever it might be. All you need to understand is that you need to get started. That's it. So now, in order to get started, you need very little of the skill, the talent, the experience of that person you see in that position. Very little of it. Because all you need to do are take the initial steps, right? So what did I need to do? Well, when I was applying for these jobs, I needed to actually apply for the job. I needed to go on the interview. I needed to buy a shirt like I'm wearing right now. I needed to do the things that I had to do to just first get the job, not be a top nutritionist or top personal trainer or top strength and conditioning specialist or someone that when celebrities were in town in Boston that they would come and work with me. I didn't need to know any of that yet. I need to know, how do I get the job? That's it. That's what I need to do first. So we'll go back, study my textbooks before the interview, make sure that I printed out a nice resume, that everything's crisp, everything's looking good, and that I'm super young. I'm 22 years old going in, and there's people there in their 30s and 40s, and I was like, I didn't even know 40-year-old personal trainers before. I didn't know this was such a thing. And so I walk in there, and I simply said, I didn't say this to them, but I said to myself, listen, you don't know everything there is to know, but you'll figure it out. let's first just try to make a good impression. Let them know you are here to work hard. You'll do everything that you can to be successful and help make this a successful operation as well. And I did. And like that's all I needed to know. Now, when I got the job, I said, okay, let me look at a few people here. And there was about 30 something people hired. And I said, okay, which one of these people do I kind of feel a connection with? A couple people. And what are they basically talking about that I don't know anything about? Let me see if I can ask them questions. And the people who respond negatively, of course, then that's not a good fit. The people who respond positively, then I'm going to learn from them. They are my next mentor. And here's the thing. And the people maybe they're super busy and they've got a lot of experience and they might not just give me that time right now. I'm going to watch them. I'm simply going to watch how they work with clients. I'm going to watch how they interact. I'm going to watch the programs that they design, the programs that they've built, how they progress clients through it. And this is what I did all day, every day, read more books, studied. I had an hour-and-a-half commute both ways from Providence, Rhode Island to Boston, Massachusetts, and I would read on those train rides, right? And so that's what I did. And again, I didn't need anything except the ability to say, well, what's next? What do I need? Well, just more knowledge, more experience. Okay, well, I can't get experience until I start working. But then I gained experience by watching the people who were experienced and by beginning to mimic a lot of what they did. Now, a lot of that I didn't keep, but I had to mimic it. I had to start to use it first, to try it on, to see if it fits. But here's the thing. What am I trying to share with you right now is that we are overestimating what it takes in order to get to our goal, because all we are looking at is the finish line. You don't know how long it's going to take to the finish line. I don't either. People ask me all the time, hey, how long is it going to take for me to get better? Well, that's the $100 million question, I guess, right? Well, it's like, well, we don't know. We don't exactly know. And anybody who tells you that they do is not giving you a complete story. Now, based on me now working for 20 plus years, well over 250,000 client appointments that we've completed, my team and I've overseen tens of thousands of labs. And what I can tell you is this, is that most people fall within a time frame of about 12 to 16 weeks to rebalance the body. But some people with much deeper chronic-based illnesses, such as, let's say, an Addison's disease that I had, or a myalgic encephalomyelitis, or a debilitating autoimmune issue, their timeline might be more like 4 to 6 months, right? Like it might be a little bit longer. I don't know. What I do know is that they will get well. Like that's not an issue, but we don't know the exact timeline. But I can also tell you this, is that they will never get well if they never get started. That's the big thing. And I've always looked at life like that, but I've been cautious. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to seem like I'm a, maverick who just jumps into these things like head first. I carefully journal. I think things out. When I first opened my first studio location, before I even became a doctor, I really thought it out, because this is, again, me using my life savings to open these locations and putting things on credit cards. But I ran the numbers. I literally said, this is what I want to be doing. I don't even need to make a lot of money, but this is what I absolutely love to do, but I can't lose money, right? That's basically what I said to myself. And it was just my wife and I at the time, and we had just gotten married. And so I said, okay, here's what I need to do. And I said, it's just me, and I need to hire one more person, and I need to make them successful. And if we do that, then great, I can pay the overhead, and I can make the same money I was making even at a gym. So that was my plan. That was my plan. It was not like, hey, I want to try to build up the biggest wellness-based locations in Boston. That was never the goal. I always went in saying, this is what I need to do. I need to be able to do the work that I love in an ideal world. I want to be able to do it in a corporate setting. I've never been a corporate person. I don't like people telling me, you need to make the numbers. That's never been me. It's like, hey, if it's what's best for my clients, then it's what's best for my clients, and that's all that matters. And so that's what I wanted, just basically I wanted purity. It's what I feel. I wanted purity of health and fitness. And that's always what I've tried to teach. So, but that's it. So again, like I want to share with you that's because I started small. And once I saw that was successful, then great. Then I built out a much larger team to the point that we had 13 nutritionists and personal trainers at that first location. We were doing well over 10,000 appointments a year. That was absolutely amazing. Then, of course, went back to school, got my degree, opened up the second location, and then we were doing another 10,000 appointments a year. So it was like, it was all progressive, but I would never have taken the next step had I not accomplished the first. And I wouldn't have accomplished the first if I hadn't taken those baby steps to just say, hey, like, what's the minimum? Like, where can I start? That's what I want. And it was the same with my health. I mean, really, like I ran a couple of labs at first. That's where I started. Then when I can afford a couple more, I ran a couple more. I began to eliminate those food sensitivities. I began to get rid of the candida overgrowth, the bacterial overgrowth. Then I realized I also had H. pylori. I began to get rid of the H. pylori. Okay, that's feeling good. Then I began to rebuild those mitochondria. And so it's like, there are steps to this, but you don't get to those final steps until you work the first ones. And people are reluctant to work the first ones simply because they overestimate the amount of work it's actually going to take. It's truly very little work to get started. It really is. I tell people about that 1 hour a day, and you have an hour a day, you really do, because you don't need the hour all at once. 20 minutes earlier in the morning, 20 minutes at lunch, 20 minutes at the end of the day. You can get so much accomplished in that time. You can get at least 10 pages to 20 pages of reading done. You can read 1 or 2 books a month at that pace. You can begin to set up quick calls with people, that you can do some research online. You can do so much in that time, and that's all that you need to get started. So my goal for you with this show is that if you've set big goals for yourself, and I hope that you have, that you begin to look at the positive versus the negative. Relationship, your body, your health, your spirituality, whatever it might be. And I want you to say to yourself, this is what I don't like about it. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to be honest with yourself, but then focus on what you want it to look like. Now that's part of your vision. Now, what are the first steps that you need to accomplish in order to begin to work that vision? Just focus on getting started. Honestly, if you just focus on getting started, the rest of that path will eventually unfold. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. As always, I truly appreciate you. I really do. Thank you so much. And of course, if this show was helpful, please do feel free to share it with anyone else you believe it could serve. I appreciate you listening all the way to the end of the show. And before you go, what I want to do is share with you what is going on right now over at our global health practice, equa.life. That is where all of our health coaching, our protocols, our at-home lab testing, all nutritional supplements, basically everything lives there. That was inside of our Boston practice that we've now made a global-based process and practice to open source everything that you could get in a functional medicine concierge practice. Now open that up to the entire world. So we're always excited about being able to share with you what's new, what's the latest, what's the greatest that we want to be able to bring to people. And this week we want to be able to get you a bottle of our daily digestive enzyme. This is absolutely one of our most popular products. And that is because if you're dealing with bloating-based issues, slow digestion, gas after meals, or of course, just kind of feeling like a little bit too full after you eat, an enzyme can help with those particular issues. So right now on all orders over $99, you are going to get a free bottle of our daily digestive enzyme. This is a almost $40 value, yours free on orders over $99. And again, I know many of you took advantage of that minerals and metals based test last week. If you have low levels of minerals on that lab test, you'll know that you're not absorbing all of your nutrients properly, which is also another great reason to be using an enzyme. Just about a couple years ago, I said to myself, honestly, there's no downside to using an enzyme for me at my whole food-based meals, and that's exactly what I do every single day. It's part of my daily foundational protocol level 3, and I use it with every lunch and every dinner to break down my food to a greater degree. And again, I want to be able to share that same product with you. So you can test it out, yours completely free on all orders biomarkers while supplies last at equa.life. That's EQUI.LIFE. Take care, everyone.